As the Farewell to Kings tour took Rush to larger venues, bigger audiences, the band's confidence only grew. They had proven that they could balance technical proficiency with emotional resonance, and they were ready to go even further. Their next project, Hemispheres, would be their most ambitious yet. Released in 1978, Hemispheres was an audacious follow-up that pushed the boundaries of what a three-piece band could achieve. The album opens with Cygnus X 1 Book 2, Hemispheres, a 20-minute epic that picks up where the previous album's Cygnus X1 left off. It's a dense and intricate composition, exploring themes of duality and balance through a science fiction lens. The song's complexity was staggering, with time signature changes that felt like navigating a labyrinth, but the payoff was immense, a sonic journey that demanded and rewarded close attention. The album's second half offered a mix of high-energy rock and introspective melodies. Circumstances combined Lifeson's razor-sharp riffs with lyrics that reflected Peart's introspections about fate and free will. The Trees took a satirical swipe at societal conflict, using an allegory about warring trees in a forest to comment on human pettiness. And then there was La Via Strangiato, a 9-minute instrumental tour de force that showcased the band's technical mastery. Lifeson's guitar work on this track was nothing short of virtuosic, while Lee's bass lines danced effortlessly between melody and rhythm, anchored by Peart's impeccable drumming. Hemispheres was a critical and commercial success, solidifying Rush's status as progressive rock heavyweights. But the album also marked a turning point for the band. The complexity of the material, particularly Cygnus X1 Book 2, had pushed them to their creative and physical limits. They had proven their point. They could write some of the most intricate, ambitious music in rock, but now they were ready to evolve again. By the end of the Hemispheres tour, Rush began rethinking their approach. They realized that their music didn't need to be sprawling epics to be powerful. They started experimenting with shorter song formats and exploring new influences, from punk to reggae to new wave. This shift would lead to their next evolution and one of the most iconic periods of their career. As the 1980s dawned, Rush was on the cusp of a transformation. The sprawling epics and dense compositions of Hemispheres had established them as progressive rock pioneers, but the grueling process of creating and performing those intricate pieces left the band yearning for something new. It wasn't a rejection of their roots, but rather a recognition that growth often means change. With their sights set on reinvention, Rush entered the studio to craft Permanent Waves, an album that would redefine their sound and catapult them to mainstream success. Recorded at Le Studio in Quebec, a remote, state-of-the-art facility nestled in the Laurentian Mountains, Permanent Waves reflected the band's evolving mindset. The isolation allowed them to focus, and the environment became a source of inspiration. The album's opener, The Spirit of Radio, was a perfect encapsulation of their new direction. With its blend of hard rock riffs, reggae-inspired rhythms, and philosophical lyrics, the song was both accessible and innovative. Geddy Lee's driving bass lines and Alex Lifeson's guitar work were as sharp as ever, while Neil Peart's lyrics celebrated the purity of music in an age of commercialism. The Spirit of Radio became an instant hit, reaching number 51 on the Billboard Hot 100 and introducing Rush to a wider audience. It was a masterclass in balancing complexity with catchiness, a feat they would replicate throughout the album. Free Will combined Peart's intricate drumming with soaring melodies and a blistering guitar solo from Lifeson, while Jacob's Ladder explored shifting time signatures and atmospheric textures, blending the old Rush with the new. But it was natural science that reminded fans the band hadn't abandoned their progressive roots. The 9-minute suite was a journey through cascading rhythms and philosophical musings. Permanent Waves was a critical and commercial success, marking Rush's first top 5 album in the US and setting the stage for their most iconic work. If Permanent Waves was a breakthrough, Moving Pictures was the coronation. Released in 1981, the album saw Rush perfecting the balance between technical complexity and mainstream appeal. Once again recorded at Le Studio, the album was a polished yet fiery statement, blending radio-friendly hooks with virtuosic musicianship. Tom Sawyer, the album's opening track, quickly became Rush's signature song. Co-written with lyricist Pi Dubois, the track was an anthem of defiance and individuality. Lee's synthesizers added a futuristic edge, while Lifeson's guitar solo was a lesson in precision and power. Peart's drumming, intricate yet unrelenting, tied it all together. Number 44 on the Billboard Hot 100, but its real success was cultural. It became a staple of classic rock radio and remains one of the band's most enduring tracks. Red Barchetta told a vivid, dystopian tale of rebellion and escape, driven by Lifeson's evocative guitar work and Peart's cinematic lyrics. The instrumental YYZ, named after Toronto's airport code, was a dazzling display of technical prowess. Built around a Morse code rhythm, the track showcased the band's telepathic interplay, with each member pushing the boundaries of their instrument. Limelight was another standout, a deeply personal reflection on fame and the pressures of living in the public eye. Peart's lyrics, written from his own struggles with celebrity, struck a chord with fans, while the song's melodic structure made it one of their most accessible tracks. Synth-heavy Witch Hunt and the complex The Camera Eye, a sprawling piece that offered a final nod to their progressive rock roots. Moving Pictures was a smash hit, reaching number 3 on the Billboard 200 and becoming Rush's best-selling album. It earned platinum certification in just 2 months and eventually went quadruple platinum in the US. The accompanying tour saw the band performing in arenas packed with tens of thousands of fans, solidifying their status as arena rock icons. The Moving Pictures tour was a spectacle in its own right. Rush had always been known for their live performances, but this tour took things to another level. Their intricate music was brought to life with precision, aided by a cutting-edge visual presentation that included synchronized lighting and projections. Tracks like Tom Sawyer and YYZ became show-stopping moments, while older songs like 2112 were reimagined to fit seamlessly into the setlist. The tour also marked the beginning of their love affair with live albums. Exit Stage Left, released in 1981, captured the energy and precision of their performances. It was more than a live recording. It was a showcase of their mastery, with tracks like La Via Strangiato and Closer to the Heart, highlighting their evolution as musicians. By the end of 1981, Rush had firmly established themselves as one of rock's most innovative and influential bands. They had weathered the commercial failure of Caress of Steel, survived the uncertainty of 2112, and emerged as arena-filling giants. But they weren't done evolving. The early 1980s would see them embracing new wave and synthesizers even more fully, continuing to explore new sonic landscapes while staying true to their core identity. Rush was no longer just a band, they were a phenomenon, a trio of virtuosos who had proven that success could be achieved without compromise. Their next chapter would see them refining their sound further, embracing technology and exploring themes that reflected the anxieties and hopes of the modern age. As the 1980s unfolded, Rush found themselves at the peak of their powers, fresh off the massive success of Moving Pictures. But instead of doubling down on their established formula, they chose to evolve once again, diving headfirst into the technological and stylistic innovations of the decade. This period, often referred to as their synth era, saw Rush embracing synthesizers, electronic drums, and new wave influences while tackling themes that reflected the anxieties and complexities of the modern world. Rush's 1982 album, Signals, was a deliberate step away from the guitar-driven sound that had defined much of their earlier work. Synthesizers took center stage, with Geddy Lee layering lush, atmospheric textures over Alex Lifeson's increasingly restrained guitar work. Neil Peart, ever the architect of rhythmic complexity, expanded his percussion arsenal with electronic drums, integrating them seamlessly into the band's evolving sound. The opening track, Subdivisions, became an instant classic. Built around a pulsating synth riff, the song painted a vivid picture of suburban alienation and the pressures of conformity. Peart's lyrics struck a chord with anyone who had ever felt out of place in a world of cookie-cutter neighborhoods and societal expectations. Lee's plaintive delivery of lines like "Nowhere is the dreamer" or "the misfit so alone" captured the ache of those trapped in the monotony of suburban life. The Analog Kid balanced nostalgia and urgency, with Lifeson's guitar shining in its interplay with Lee's synth line. New World Man, the album's most radio-friendly track, showcased the band's ability to craft catchy, yet sophisticated songs. The track climbed to number 21 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it Rush's highest-charting single in the U.S. Countdown, inspired by the band's attendance at a NASA space shuttle launch, blended awe-inspiring imagery with an anthemic arrangement. The song's soaring synths and vivid lyrics mirrored the excitement and tension of space exploration, underscoring Rush's knack for capturing the zeitgeist in their music. Signals marked a turning point for the band. While it was a commercial success, reaching number 10 on the Billboard 200, it divided fans. Some embraced the new direction, while others lamented the reduced prominence of Lifeson's guitar. But for Rush, the shift wasn't about abandoning their roots. It was about growth. They were determined to remain relevant in a rapidly changing musical landscape, even if it meant taking risks. The tensions of the Cold War and the looming threat of nuclear annihilation loomed large in the cultural consciousness of the early 1980s. These anxieties found their way into Rush's 1984 album, Grace Under Pressure. The record was darker and more introspective than its predecessor, tackling themes of loss, survival, and the fragility of human existence. Distant Early Warning, the album's lead single, set the tone. With its chilling references to environmental disaster and global conflict, the song captured the unease of the era. Lee's soaring vocals and Peart's urgent lyrics painted a world on the brink, while Lifeson's understated guitar provided a haunting counterpoint to the dense synth layers. Afterimage was a poignant reflection on loss, inspired by the death of a close friend of the band. The song's raw emotion and introspective lyrics offered a rare glimpse into the band's personal struggles. Lines like, "Suddenly you were gone, from all the lives you left your mark upon," resonated deeply with listeners, showcasing Peart's ability to blend the universal and the deeply personal. Red Sector A was another standout, a harrowing account of survival inspired by Geddy Lee's mother's experiences as a Holocaust survivor. The song's stark imagery and relentless rhythm created a sense of urgency and despair, a powerful reminder of humanity's capacity for both destruction and resilience. Between the Wheels closed the album with a sense of foreboding, its dark, brooding arrangement underscoring lyrics that reflected the pressures of modern life. It was a fitting end to a record that didn't shy away from confronting the harsh realities of the world. Grace Under Pressure was a success, both critically and commercially, reaching number 10 on the Billboard 200. The album's themes and sound resonated with a generation grappling with uncertainty, and its ambitious production pushed the boundaries of what Rush could achieve as a trio. The Signals and Grace Under Pressure tours saw Rush embracing technology not just in their music but in their live performances. Their stage setups became increasingly sophisticated, incorporating elaborate light shows, projections, and synchronized visuals that enhanced the experience without overshadowing the music. Tracks like Subdivisions and Distant Early Warning became live staples, their cinematic qualities amplified by the immersive stagecraft. But the road ahead would present new challenges as the band continued to explore the possibilities of their sound while grappling with the ever-changing expectations of fans and critics alike. By the mid-1980s, Rush had fully embraced the possibilities of digital production, synthesizers, and electronic experimentation. Their music had evolved from the guitar-heavy epics of the 1970s into something sleek, modern, and layered with intricate textures. Released in 1985, Power Windows was Rush's most polished and ambitious album to date. Produced by Peter Collins, the album saw the band incorporating state-of-the-art technology to craft a dense, cinematic sound. Synthesizers dominated the mix, with Geddy Lee's bass often playing a secondary role to the album's lush, layered arrangements. Alex Lifeson adapted his guitar style to fit the new aesthetic, favoring clean tones and atmospheric textures over the heavy riffs of their earlier work. Thematically, Power Windows revolved around the concept of power in its many forms: political, personal, and technological. The opening track, The Big Money, tackled the allure and corruption of wealth with biting lyrics from Neil Peart. The song's driving rhythm and sharp guitar riffs gave it a sense of urgency, while Lee's vocals carried an air of detached critique. The accompanying music video, packed with abstract imagery and symbolism, became a staple, blending history and morality in a gripping narrative about the development of the atomic bomb. Peart's lyrics juxtaposed the awe of scientific discovery with the devastating consequences of its application, while the song's orchestral arrangement added a layer of gravitas. Marathon explored the perseverance required to achieve greatness, using athletic imagery as a metaphor for personal struggle. Lifeson's guitar solo in the song became one of the album's emotional high points, a reminder that even in this synth-heavy era, his playing remained integral to the band's sound. Mystic Rhythms was a haunting meditation on humanity's connection to the unknown. Its tribal-inspired percussion and ethereal synths gave it a timeless quality, and it became a favorite in Rush's live sets. Power Windows was a critical and commercial success, reaching number 9 on the Billboard 200 and earning the band another platinum certification. While some fans missed the raw power of their earlier albums, others embraced the evolution, recognizing the album as a bold step forward. 2 years later, Rush followed up with Hold Your Fire, an album that further refined the sound they had pioneered on Power Windows. Once again produced by Peter Collins, the album leaned even more heavily into synthesizers and digital production. The result was an intricate, introspective record that balanced technical precision with emotional resonance. The lead single, Time Stands Still, was an instant classic. Featuring backing vocals from Amy Mann of Till Tuesday, the song captured a wistful longing to savor fleeting moments of life. Peart's lyrics reflected a new maturity, blending poetic imagery with universal themes. Lifeson's understated guitar work and Lee's melodic synth lines gave the song a shimmering, Reflect's opening track was a high-energy anthem about resilience in the face of adversity. Written in a single day to meet a deadline, the song's urgency translated into its driving rhythm and powerful chorus. It became a live staple, often opening Rush's concerts during this era. Prime Mover explored themes of destiny and free will, while Lock and Key delved into the darker aspects of human nature, addressing the struggle to control destructive impulses. Peart's lyrics throughout the album showcased his ability to tackle complex philosophical ideas with clarity and accessibility. One of the album's most striking tracks was Mission, a soaring meditation on ambition and the sacrifices required to achieve greatness. The song's cinematic arrangement and heartfelt lyrics made it a fan favorite, particularly among those who saw parallels between its themes and Rush's own career journey. Hold Your Fire was well received by critics and peaked at number 13 on the Billboard 200, but its more polished, synth-driven sound alienated some fans who yearned for the raw energy of the band's earlier years. Nevertheless, the album demonstrated Rush's unwavering commitment to growth and experimentation. Stay tuned for Part 3, where we explore the final days of this legendary band. If you're a fan of Eddie Van Halen, I also did a series on his life and career. I left the links in the description. Thanks to my noble subscribers, you keep me inspired. If you haven't joined the family, give the subscribe button a good smack, and the like button too, and I want to thank you so much for watching.